ಕಾಯುವುದು.
Practice. And these decisions could range from being ethical, political, social, to decisions regarding the aesthetic, narrative, or performative aspects of your tradition. So what can be done so that puppeteers become stakeholders in the change, the inevitable change that their tradition undergoes? So that's one of the challenges that UNIMA India has. Now, to give another context, Anurupa, as you know, is self-taught and then went on to take some training where it was available. As her predecessor, I was in very much the same league, self-taught, no school to go to, nobody to answer your questions, a pretty lonely road and a journey. So how did we continue our practice? By doing what you call atelier, a workshop at which you attract other people, you reach out to different audiences in the hope that you will keep expanding the base of puppeteers and puppetry in your world. I started teaching in a very curriculum-based university. So you had the informal aspect, which was the workshop you designed every time according to the people that came to you, and you had the curriculum approach, which was very straight-jacketed. Between these two things, when we started discussing, we figured out that we really need to create something which is neither this nor that. What is it going to be was a big question mark. Because I described to you the diversity in the country, so there was no way we could possibly look towards ready examples and lift, in today's language, cut, copy, paste, a curriculum from somewhere else in the world and hope that it will work for us. I don't think that was possible. We had to take into account the fact that there are 17 living traditions of puppetry in the country today. Even though I talk about diminishing numbers, there still might be, it's a rough estimate because there is no firm database, there still might be about 1,500 traditional puppeteers working within their family. I'm not counting the family numbers, I'm just counting the puppeteer. And there might be, it's again guesswork, there might be about 80 contemporary puppeteers. Intuitively, 80. Not 81. So, when you take a step back, you see that, all right, the traditional puppeteers, the numbers are going down. The contemporary puppeteers in the last 30 years, I have to say, happily, the numbers are going up, however slow. So, do we create a pedagogic structure for the one or for the other? I think it has to be for both. Now, that is a huge challenge. You have to have an exposure to the traditions, you have to acknowledge, you have to give the space, you have to give the strength to the traditional puppetry, generational puppeteers who are there, and you have to provide a very strong identity base to the contemporary puppeteers. The contemporary puppeteers emerge from the urban youth. And I think the urban youth in many places in the world today are searching for a globalized identity and are very quick to look away from their roots. So the challenge is I have to get there, I have to get back home, I have to get back to this, I have to get back to that. Only part of your mind and your intention is dedicated to the task. So what is lacking in a workshop? Complete immersion. So we want it to be a residential experience. You have to get away from everything and be in the same place as all the participants and look for a place which is away from everything else. We were lucky. We found a mountain house, and that became the space for the residency. So the master is there. It's a residency. The master chooses how long it should be, but they have been 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They have been, the maximum has been 3 weeks. Now, the transmission happens according to what the master's pedagogical practice is. If it isn't there, then he has to actually break down his practice and create a pedagogy for the students. The students might be, the participants might be contemporary practitioners, or they might be traditional puppeteers, because that was the second challenge we had, was that how do you bring the younger generation of the traditional puppeteers who are not so happy to continue in the tradition back to being central to their work, to redefining their identity, to finding their identity within their work. So we decided that you need to also have a mentoring element in the masterclass. You have to mentor. As Anka said, it is not just about teaching skills, but it's also about human beings and about self-awareness. So mentoring is a process which takes each individual participant from the skill aspect to the creation aspect, and with an understanding of how he is responding to it. And in the masterclass class, very importantly, there is a space for a daily discussion, exposure for responding to the art. And there is documentation. There's documentation because for us it is a lab and we are still learning from it. And the documentation is what I can show you to provide a small window into what it looks like when a traditional master is put before contemporary designers, animators, puppeteers, and see how he actually negotiates the space. So, if I may, Paolo, show the clip.
When you say masterclass, what do you mean?
Means that a master is a focus of it, which means this one person whose personal experiences of being an artist, whose years of accumulated knowledge is what is coming in this workshop. It's not like we have 3 or 4 people teaching. There's one person teaching, and their idea of aesthetic values, ethical values, approach to the art form. But here the master being the focus, the one person who's teaching being the focus, was very important. Mentorship is inclusive. That first you teach, then you mentor an artistic process. Is at the focus of it, which means this one person whose personal experiences of being an artist, whose years of accumulated knowledge is what is coming in this workshop. It's not like we have 3 or 4 people teaching. It's one person teaching, and their idea of aesthetic values, ethical values, approach to the art form. But here the master being the focus, the one person who's teaching being the focus, was very important. Mentorship is inclusive. That first you teach, then you mentor an artistic process.
ಸಂತೋಷವಾಗಿ ಅಡಗಿದ ಮೃಗಗಳ ಉದಲಿ ಕಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡಗಿದ ಮೃಗಗಳ ನೀನವೇ ಶ್ರೀ ಶ್ರೀ ಹತ್ಯವೋ ಶಿಶುಹತ್ಯ ಸ್ತ್ರೀ ಹತ್ಯ ಗೋಹತ್ಯ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮತ್ಯ ನಿಮ್ಮೊಳಗುಂಟೆನೆಲೋ ಓದಿ ನೋಡೆಲು ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರವ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮನ ಕೈಯೊಳ್ ವೇದ ಪುರಾಣಗಳ ಮುಂಡೆ ಎಂಬುವರೆಲ್ ನಾನು ಭೂಮಂಡಲದೋಡ ಗಂಡೆ ಎಂಬುವರೆನ್ನ ಚಿತ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಲಾಲಿಸಯ್ಯ ಮಾವಯ್ಯ ಕೇಳೋ ಎನ್ನ ಕಾಯ್ಬುದು ಕರ್ಣ ಓಲೆ ಮುಗುತಿ ಚಿನ್ನ.
ये क्या है?
ये पपेट का बॉडी है।
आपका यहाँ है, आपको उठाने के लिए फिर इधर जाना पड़ता था आपको ऊंचा, तो ये इधर भी जाएगा तो फिर नीचे कैसे गिरेगा देखो।
And now for this, और याद रखो, don't cut. If you cut the paper, you get a straight line. And if you get a straight line, वो हमेशा दिखाई देंगे. आप फाड़ोगे तो better है. So take and you put inside. अंदर वाला भाग पहले. You push it in. And when there's water in it, the glue also comes better. See. अब सीधा ब्राउन पेपर लगाओगे तो मुश्किल हो जाता है.
आप खुद पकड़ो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. ये सब बोल रहे सुअर है, सुअर है, सुअर है. पहले इसका क्या हो गया, थोड़ा ये देखो, सब बोल रहे सुअर है, सुअर है. क्या
क्या क्या है तेरी हाल? भैया क्या बोलूं मैं? तो पंचवटी से राम लक्ष्मण आ गए. वो तो
Now here are shadow puppeteers who are exploring a source of light different from oil lamps. They have never done this before.
क्यों बनाया?
मैंने तुझे इसलिए बनाया क्योंकि राम सीता को धोखा देना है.
मैं तो जोर से. हाँ.
In this workshop, there were 3 animation professionals who participated.